What is going on, guys? What is going on, 27 Squad? Welcome back into another video. And we're going to be talking about the blue and white scrimmage game between the New York Giants and the New York Giants, the intra-squad scrimmage, the blue and white game. To me, looking at this, it's our first glimpse of football, right? And I think everybody kind of overhyped what this would be because we're just itching to watch some football. We should be in the third week of the preseason right now. We should have seen training camp. We should have seen at least 3 games by now. So, all this, put together, everything that's going on, we really just want to see some football, and this was very underwhelming to say the least. Not only did it not air live, which everybody was thought it was going to air live, including some Giants media guys out there, and I guess change of plans or something, that it's not going to be airing live and not everybody can see it live, and it's going to be aired the next day, which is today. And and we'll only see like a highlight form of it in like a 40 minute special or something, and I don't know, it was stupid. Or a 29 minute special, I'm sorry. Yeah, it was definitely underwhelming. I thought it was terrible video production as well. Just the camera work on the field was absolutely horrid. I wasn't able to evaluate any players as much as I wanted to. That's why I was waiting to make this video. I didn't want to just base my thoughts just on the Twitter post. I wanted to be able to see everything myself, the analyst that I am. I want to be able to watch the film myself. But let's get into the winners and losers of this game and basically everything all around. This was a very back and forth game between the offense and the defense. I thought the offense made some great plays. I thought the defense made some great plays. I thought, there's still weaknesses between those both sides. Not the offense or the defense are necessarily strong yet. They're still developing. Obviously, there are some things that both need to work on. There were some things that I really liked. I thought the offensive line at times were playing nasty, and they were able to open things up in the run game. We've seen that Wayne Gallman touchdown where he just was able to cut in between the tackles and run for that long touchdown. That's what we wanted from Wayne Gallman even before we drafted Saquon Barkley. So hopefully we get more of that in the season. Saquon was being Saquon. I don't think we should even mention Saquon in this video because we're trying to see people that are developing. I think Saquon is just great. I think everybody knows that. So he wasn't even the focal point of this game. And so let's get into the winners and the losers here. The first winner, I would have to say, is the defensive line, or Lorenzo Carter. Lorenzo Carter had like 4 sacks in the first half or something like that. I don't think he played too much in the second half. That's why, he didn't have any after that. But he was all over the field. He was constantly in the backfield. There were times where the camera, which I don't get, but the camera was panned towards Daniel Jones before the snap and like really zoomed in, and by the time the ball is snapped and the camera had time to pan out or switch to a different camera view, Lorenzo Carter was already in the backfield sacking Daniel Jones. Now, these aren't live sacks, these aren't full contact, so you never know what could have happened in those games. Daniel Jones could have escaped the sack, he could have ran out the pocket, whatever the case may be, but it winds up being a sack for Lorenzo Carter. Hopefully he has reached this new peak, right, as the speed rusher he was supposed to be coming out of Georgia. But our first winner today is Lorenzo Carter. He played phenomenally well. This is exactly what we have been looking for with Lorenzo Carter, and I'm just happy that he's able to get off to the right foot. Leonard Williams had a sack as well. I believe Dexter Lawrence had a sack as well. Kyler Fackrell had a sack, and also Marcus Golden had a sack. So, everybody was able to eat there. I didn't see too much of O'Shane Jimenez. Andrew Thomas did a good job handling him. And I guess I would go to our first loser of the day is the offensive line. The offensive line was, you could tell that they need development, all right? Nick Gates actually played pretty well at center. He actually was able to get things down. So you guys know how I feel about Nick Gates. Now on the interior, you guys can check out my film review on him up above. If you guys are new to the channel, it was a really good video, if I do say so myself. The interior of the offensive line played just fine. It was the tackle spots. They were really, really bad. Andrew Thomas couldn't hold Lorenzo Carter when Lorenzo Carter was guarded up against him. But Andrew Thomas did handle O'Shane Jimenez. Matt Peart looked strong in the run game. But again, the stunting inside, with young tackles, it's gonna happen, man. So they're gonna get beat, and so they did just that. And constantly, even on the interior played better than the tackle spots, but constantly the interior pocket was collapsing, and Daniel Jones had nowhere to go, and it wound up being a sack. That's why everybody was able to feast on there. So our first winner would be the defensive line, or more so Lorenzo Carter, and then our first loser would be the offensive line. I really want to highlight the secondary spot because even though James Bradbury really got beat a lot in training camp, he actually played pretty well when the lights were on in the field, and that's all I really care about at the end of the day. If he gets mossed in training camp but he plays well on the field, I would be wondering what the hell is going on there, but I'm okay with it. So when it comes to James Bradbury, I think he played fine. When it came to Darnay Holmes, now the only injury in this game was Darnay Holmes, and he was questionable to return with a lower back injury. But it seemed like he was fine. I believe he still had his helmet on. I believe he was just on the sidelines. I think they just held him out. Just they don't want to strain the injury. They don't want to amplify it or exaggerate it. So. Darnay Holmes was probably the only injury, and I don't even know if it was injury. So, but he played really well in the slot. He was starting in the slot. He was guarding up Sterling Shepard pretty well on that one play where he was able to dive and bat down the ball. I believe that was on the third down. Correct me if I'm wrong as well, but Darnay Holmes played extremely well, and he's still continuing to develop. If you guys want to see my video just talking about Darnay Holmes, you guys can check that out up above as well. I also really want to highlight the wide receivers. From the top all the way down, the wide receivers were making plays. You had the top, like Sterling Shepard, Darius Slayton. Golden Tate wasn't very active in this game, but, those three guys did well. Then going down to Corey Coleman, he played extremely well. Corey Coleman, I'm happy we had no preseason games because Corey Coleman can survive now because he cannot survive the preseason games. So hopefully we get into the regular season and he is okay because he would be a huge threat and a huge X factor to our game. You guys watch Corey Coleman. He was making those back shoulder throws. He was making those nice post routes, exactly what he was doing in college out of Baylor. He was doing those back shoulder throws, those deep routes, those post routes. That's pretty much his route tree and his specialty, and he was great at that in the scrimmage game. He was just demolishing players. And there was one play on Christian Angulo, the back shoulder throw was absolutely fantastic. And so the wide receivers from the top down did really well. Alex Bachman also was present. He did very well. Benjamin Victor, I wanted to see more of him, and constantly there were times where the ball was batted away from him. Like Grant Haley defended him very, very well. I forgot Grant Haley was even on the team, but all this hype with Darnay Holmes and James Bradbury and guys like this, and who's going to be the second corner, I completely forgot about Grant Haley. So, that being said, I really wanted to highlight the wide receivers. I don't really know if they're really a winner, but I'd say Corey Coleman and Darius Slayton were pretty much the winners there, from the wide receiving core. Another couple names I wanted to mention was Devontae Downs. All right, Devontae Downs and Ryan Connolly. Devontae Downs was starting at inside linebacker, and damn, he was good. I mean, I don't know where this guy comes from, but he comes from the Minnesota Vikings. They have a really good linebacking core over there, so I can imagine why he didn't make the team. But Devontae Downs was great, chasing down Sterling Shepard early in the game. That was a fantastic play. I mean, I know it was like a two-tap type of thing, right? Two-hand touch type of thing, but he was very, very well in range of wrapping up and tackling. He did very well as far as, coverage and as far as stopping the run and getting in between the gaps. I thought Devontae Downs played much better than I thought he would. And Ryan Connolly did very well as well. Carl Banks also alluded to loving Ryan Connolly's ability to know where to go, and it's such a refreshing thing to see from the linebackers, just knowing where to go. So that really shows that Patrick Graham knows how to kind of convey his scheme other than James Betcher the past couple of years, who constantly, these teams, the defense looked confused with James Betcher. They seem to be somewhat on the right track with Patrick Graham. So they're able to convey that message and help the players understand where to go. Now, I want to talk about Daniel Jones, because Daniel Jones, I don't know why the consensus around the Twitters and YouTube is saying that Daniel Jones has been performing bad, that he looked bad in these preseason games. I've seen it all over Twitter, and that he fumbled and it's the end of the world. And guys, relax. He is one of my winners as well. Daniel Jones, if you watched the game, if you watched the scrimmage, he looked extremely confident in those games, in those plays, extremely confident when throwing the ball. His decision making wasn't antsy. His decision making wasn't hesitant. He was able to throw the ball with confidence. It was spiraling. He throws the ball extremely well, and it was accurate. Now, Was it always complete? Absolutely not. You know, there are some, it's going to happen, okay? But everybody thinks it's the end of the world because Lorenzo Carter's last sack, he was able to poke the ball free from Daniel Jones. Now, let me get something straight. In the first half, where an edge rusher has 4 sacks, something's bound to give. It's probably going to happen more often than not. If you allow your pass rushers to get through that many times, and that's just Lorenzo Carter getting 4 sacks. We're not talking about Leonard Williams. We're not talking about Kyler Fackrell. We're not talking about Marcus Golden, Dexter Lawrence. These guys were able to demolish the line and get to Daniel Jones or get to whoever was back there. The edge rush and the pass rush was very, very prevalent throughout this game. Something's going to happen. I'm actually shocked that Daniel Jones only fumbled the ball once, okay? And Daniel Jones did not play bad at all. He actually played extremely well. I'll show you what Joe Judge had to say to Daniel Jones, pulling him aside and talking about his fumble.
I like just about 99% of everything we did in the first half. What didn't I like? The fumble on the slide, the fumble with the ball swinging, right? Keep it tight, have that clock in your head. You know when they're collapsing on you, right? Step up. Sack ain't the worst thing in the world. We don't want it, but just watch hold the thing too long because they're swatting you every time, all right? Well,
so you can see Joe Judge loved everything. 99% of what Daniel Jones has put on the field, he loved. The 1%, the fumble, okay? The fumble, that was it. He has to clean that up, but I honestly think he did fine. I don't think this should be something to really worry about, okay? Quarterbacks fumble all the time. Let's just keep that in mind. Just because this was supposed to be something Daniel Jones is working on doesn't mean he shouldn't be fumbling 0% of the time, okay? He's going to fumble this year, and I already could hear it. I already know, here we go again. He's not learning, okay? 100% of the quarterbacks every single year fumble the ball at some point in time. You know, it happens to the best of them, okay? It happens to all of them, actually. So, it's going to happen. So, I'm fine with it. As long as it wasn't like 2 or more fumbles, I'm okay with it. This is on Lorenzo Carter's last sack, all right? So, I would have had a problem if he fumbled early on in the game, right? But Daniel Jones was under pressure throughout the whole entire game. It was bound to happen. So, I just wanted to rant there. And I also wanted to quickly update you guys on, what's going on as far as the roster goes. In a very weird turn of events, a very weird transaction, we keep this Feaster kid, the running back, that was on the Jacksonville Jaguars practice squad last year as an undrafted free agent. Feaster, I forgot his name, his first name, but we keep him and we let go of Javon Leak. That made no sense. Javon Leak actually had a really good scrimmage. He didn't get too much playing time, but he had a huge toss to the right side and had a huge burst of speed and looked exactly how I thought he would look. I'm not a huge Javon Leak fan because of his combine, but I always thought he was a great outside runner, and he did well at that. He did better than I thought he would. So we waive him. We keep Feaster. We waive him, and we also waive. Who else did we waive? We also waived Christian Angulo. I forgot what school he's coming from. It's from somewhere in the Northeast. I forgot what school he's coming from, but we waive him. And we bring in Brandon Williams and Kavari Russell. And I don't know how I feel about that. Brandon Williams is fine. We bring in Brandon Williams and Kavari Russell. I don't know if we should have waived Javon Leak. I thought Feaster would probably be the guy we waive. He looks very small, very thin, almost looks like a wide receiver type build. And I don't understand it at all. I don't understand. It looks like a Donald Pumphrey almost, right? I don't know. I thought we should have kept Javon Leak. That was very confusing to me why we let him go. I thought he would have been a really good addition to the team if he were to make the team. But other than that, Dion Lewis played well. Some tight ends played well. Levine Toilolo showed out, had a really good catch on Ryan Conley, where Ryan Conley was very much well in position. But that was the blue and white scrimmage game. The blue team, the offense, winds up winning that one, I believe, like 23-22 or something like that. But that's the game, guys. It wasn't too much. It wasn't that exciting, but we got to see a little football. We got to see a little bit of Giants football, so I'm okay with that. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, guys. What do you guys think of the scrimmage game? Did you guys think I got, I hit the nail on something? Do you guys think I got something wrong? I don't know, but this is just a little discussion with you guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.